talking about for quite a while, I reckon.
And did you have any fear when you were sort of like, let's do this, that you were going to be able to persuade the other two lads to get involved?
Honestly, I think for me personally, if everybody was really into it, then we knew it was right. If everybody wasn't really into it, then there was no point, and there have been a few different occasions over the years where we had spoke about the idea of, we'd been made an offer to do something here or there, and we knew it wasn't right. So it was like one or two may have even said, yes, yeah, I'd be into that idea. But then somebody else might go, really? I don't think that's right. And, and then you'd step away and a few weeks later you'd be like, actually, it wasn't right. So I think it's all about the timing and about, the four of us really needed to want to do this. And that's why we're here, because we really want to do this again.
And then what about you, Mark? Did you take much persuasion? Obviously, all of you had your own albums, and I know you'd had a couple of other projects you were working on as well. Did you have to think about it for a while?
Honestly, I think once I was ready, I was completely ready. There would be no doubt, right, sitting here right now, there's no doubt in my mind that I'm absolutely 100% into it, and I think that's what it took for us all to. Yeah, I'm kind of like 65%.
You know what? I think I've changed our minds.
No, but I think that's what we all had to wait for, was the moment when we were all 100% into the idea of getting back together. And there was probably times where two or three of us might have been and one wasn't, or 2 and 2 or whatever, and finally we're all into it now, and we also got we were all speaking about this the other day. We all got quite a sense of even the public, just walking down the street or in a pub or a restaurant or wherever, the amount of people that were coming up to us was getting bigger and bigger every time we walked down the street. Yeah, oh, come on, when are you doing a gig? When are you getting back together? It's always been there, but it's just escalated quite a lot recently, and so it just felt right from both our angle and it's seemingly from the public's angle as well.
And then what about you, Nikki? Because obviously, you have Dancing with the Stars. You have our almost award-winning show that we present together. And obviously your family, your kids, everything, and you're kind of home at lunchtime most days or just after. Obviously, after we have a very extensive meeting for the next day.
Are you really trying to interview me now?
Yeah. How weird is this?
I'll put my interview head on, sorry.
But I know even from talking to you over the last while, it wasn't an immediate thing ages ago that you said, I'm going to do this. You were like, I will do it. I'm not sure when. And then you came to me and were like, it's now.
Yeah, I think as the boys have said, I think it was about time, and I think all of us we all did our own thing, and we were at different moments in our lives that I think deep in our hearts we all knew it would happen again, and when was the killer question. And I think we just had to juggle a few things, and for me, like for everybody, have to juggle their own things, and for me, obviously, I have the radio and I have the TV show, but first and foremost, my dad and a husband and all those type of things. But it's just about, for me as well, I have to say, and again, when we sat down, when we first started discussing, it was all about, I know we'll move on to it a little bit later on, but about the music. It was about, well, if we're going to do it, is it going to be about just nostalgia? Is it going to be about getting back on stage, which would have been brilliant? But we did look at bands before us like Take That and say, look, they did it so right. You know, they didn't, when they came back, they didn't try and make Could It Be Magic again or A Million Love Songs again. They went back and did some current songs. So we kind of sat in my kitchen on many occasions and went, right, well, who and what and how do we come back and make the same impact that we made in 1999? And I think that's where we're at now. So when all those things started to marry together, we heard some stuff. There was offers there to tour. And then it was about, right, lads, now, and obviously, next year's 20 years since Swear It Again, Flying at Wings, and those big songs. So it just feels right now. And it took a little bit of time. I think my main worry was always when we got back in the room together, would that magic be there, that chemistry? And we've been out for dinner a few times in London and places, and the banter's flowing probably more now that we're, pushing on a little bit. And we've always been good friends.
You're the only one in their 40s here.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah,
I was going to ask that actually. Are you the oldest?
I am the oldest. But Shane's only 9 months behind me. So
yeah, that's nearly a year.
I'm still in my 30s.
I'm the baby. I'm the baby of the band, and I'm holding on to that till I die.
And then, obviously, and we're going to talk about the new music in a bit, because I'm one of the lucky few who've actually heard it. It's amazing. That's all I'm going to say for the moment. But I do want to mention, obviously, what has been, reported over the last few weeks and months, certainly, is the news about Brian, and it was there. And I know there's no hard feelings. He put up a lovely tweet actually wishing us all the best. So I only really wanted to give you guys an opportunity to say whatever it is that you want to say about Brian while you're here.
Well, I mean, we honestly harbour no ill feeling towards Brian, whatsoever. Never have done. I suppose when we first got back, when we first got back to talk about it, we all discussed. I mean, anyone dive in here when you want to. That we were always going to take Westlife off again where we left it in 2012. And Brian walked away obviously in 2004. And what people forget, and it sometimes hurts us a little bit when you see the headlines that Simon Cowell wanted Brian. And
I'm sure it kind of hurts Brian as well, because I know a lot of it's not true.
We never fell
either.
out with Brian and none of those things. But we did 9.5 years without him, and we genuinely harbour no ill feeling towards Brian. And sometimes press and stuff and all these stories don't help the relationship, because there is no ill feeling from either way. You see that from his tweet that I would have said, and we genuinely wish him all the best. But we're taking Westlife now off from where we left it in 2012.
Yeah. That's probably the best way to describe it.
Yeah, I think so.
We've been a band longer. We were a band twice as long without Brian before we split up.
I think a lot of people seem to forget that.
And there's been 6 or 7 years there, yeah. So like we were together, whatever, maybe 8 years as a 4-piece. And I think we're 7 years nearly now apart as a 4-piece. So there's only one band for us in our minds, and it's nothing bad towards Brian, but that's how we genuinely feel in our heart. It'd be weird. It'd be weird if it wasn't, and if it was another way.
We don't look at Westlife now as 4 of us minus 1. Like 4 of us is Westlife, and that's the way it's been since Brian left. And when Brian left, it was very difficult for us, and we kind of thought, or the rule book kind of says this is the beginning of the end, because that's kind of what happens a lot when someone leaves a pop band. And so it was very tough, and then we had to sort of find our strength, and we had to regroup as a 4 and rebond, and everything went great, and it was fantastic. But that's not something you go through lightly, and it's not something that can be reversed either. So that's kind of where it's at.
Right, I need to know what are the fears right now? I'm sure there's a few, but is there any major fears?
I think we're all really anxious to know what's going to happen on Thursday when the tickets actually go on sale. We're like, how wanted are we? It's like, I think the reaction that we've had online.
I think they are wanted, aren't they?
But that's only 30 people. That's going to
we need a few
terrible in Croke Park.
We need another 84,700 people.
I could put up a post on Facebook for you later. Don't worry about that, Shane.
No, but I think it's everything has changed so much since we left the music industry or whatever. Like obviously social media has really taken over, and it seems to be that's where all the buzz is for anything nowadays. We've definitely felt that buzz, ourselves on social media and just watching the comments and seeing how many people are actually interested. But it's just so hard to gauge. It's like, we still have this big tour that we want to do coming up next year. And, we're just really anxious to see, I don't know, how wanted we are. It's quite exciting, but it's very nerve-wracking as well.
Well, if it's any indication, the amount of people who want to be in the room today, we nearly broke our Facebook and Twitter for it. So I think that's certainly a good indication. What about your families? How are they all feeling about it? Because obviously your families are all kind of like a big family as well, because you've been through kind of births, deaths, marriage, like everything together. So they must be kind of going, do you know, I'm looking forward to seeing the mums and the dads and whatever it is again.
I think it is, yeah. They haven't seen each other really a lot since, but I think when it comes to families, like our children, like they're so excited about this. I think I'm more excited for them than I am for me even, because a lot of them weren't old enough to understand Westlife at all, bar maybe Nicole, Rocco and Jay. The rest of them are like 2 years old, 3 years old, so they have no memory at all of Westlife. So they think it's pretty cool that their dads are back in Westlife,
Although my two
kind of embarrassing as well, is it?
You're not going to do those terrible songs, lads, that you did before.
And you said, yes, of course we are.
Of course we are. But we have Ed Sheeran now. He's written one for us, so we're doing okay. But I think you've got 2 of yours wouldn't remember.
Well, 2 of mine weren't born.
And Gia wasn't born. Yeah. Actually, she's birthday day. Happy birthday, baby.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Gia.
Yeah, Mark's doesn't have any babies yet. But it is exciting. And I think it's exciting for our parents as well. You mentioned there, births and marriages and funerals. And obviously most of our parents are still around. And I think it was a breakup for them when we broke up as well, to see that, Westlife, because it was the Westlife on tour was, everybody in the dressing room backstage, whether it was Dublin or Belfast or even the UK or around the world, they would, somebody would be over, and even our friends. I mean, we'd, our lads would be on the road with us at different times, and all of our best mates. And I think Westlife definitely extends, and I think what we're looking forward to as well is to have that, but also selfishly for the 4 of us to be on that stage and enjoying those moments again.
Do you think you'll enjoy it? Will you enjoy it more now, do you think? Because you've been away for it for so long because you're a bit older. You know, you kind of get caught up in this sort of machine and don't get to enjoy it after a while.
I think so, yeah. I think 100% we'll enjoy it a lot more because, you know, playing Crow Park and things like that, it's not normal for any band to play Crow Park. You know,
No.
we had played it, I suppose, this is our 5th time to play it, which is incredible, you know, and it was always our dream to play Crow Park, and we got to play it 3-4 times, and it kind of felt like it was normal. But nothing that we did, when we look back at it now, was normal. You know, it was just extraordinary. So I think to do it again and be able to really enjoy it with our families, with our mums and dads, friends, everybody. But for us, as Nicky said, the 4 of us on stage, I think we'll be giddy.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think we look around and go, you know, we will look around even at the crowds and see what the amount of effort that the fans make coming to these gigs. You know, whether it's booking a hotel or whether it's going to the hairdressers or getting their outfit for the day. There's so much that goes into coming to a Westlife concert because there's thousands coming in.
I even see the people who come to the building here to stay in the car park and just to say hello to Nicky even. And I know somebody flew over from Italy, you know, last night who's sitting in the room now. So it's things like that. It's that serious dedication. There you go. But talk to us about the new material. I don't know how much you can or can't say about it. I will say one thing, it's brilliant. So who wants to start off? I know you're back working with Steve Mack, you know, who obviously did Flying Without Wings and various other songs, and everybody's been talking about Ed Sheeran. So how did all of that kind of happen?
Well, I mean, Steve Mack, first of all, is, as you said, you know, he's literally written and produced, like, not the majority, but a huge amount of our hits. Flying Without Wings, World of Our Own, you know, a very long list. And there was a while where he sort of went off into the obscurity and sort of refound himself, and he came back and started having huge hits with multiple pop acts, and now he's like Ed Sheeran, Pink, Birdie, like even like very sort of really cool stuff as well. And we've sort of done a similar kind of thing. We've been away as well, and so we've kind of came back.
Is that your kind of little thing there?
Birdie Wings, yeah.
He thought it was just one person's name at one point. I was like, no, it's this artist and title.
Oh, right, okay.
There's a song called Wings.
Yeah.
So I just Birdie Wings.
Okay, brilliant.
Moving on.
Anyways, you know, in jokes and everything.
That was a Nicky and Jenny moment
but we can edit that out from the live video.
So we've done 360. We're back with sort of our original producer, and there wasn't a better person in the world, I don't think, to A, sort of create that Westlife sound again, but B, to bring us into sort of a 2018 version of that. Like, we're not trying to change a Westlife sound, but we also need to evolve. We don't want to sound just like, that band that were around 10 years ago.
What I will say is, though, you're not coming back. This first single is not the single that people will probably be expecting to hear.
Yeah, which is what we wanted. I mean, it's still very much Westlife, but it's something exciting. It's exciting to match the excitement that we have for our comeback in general, you know. And you know, people forget we have had the occasional up-tempo in the past, and those songs really...
So you're saying it's up-tempo?
Oh, Mark, you're giving away exclusives.
How much are we saying here?
What?
Okay. There's no coming back from this, is there? It's not a ballad. It's not a ballad. Okay,
no.
It's not a ballad.
It's a great pop song.
Sorry, I'm asking a question. Did any of us ever worry that if we came back, that in the current music the way it was on playlist, we deal with playlists every day, where Westlife would fit?
100%, yeah.
Well, we had that chat in your house. That was one of the first things we chatted about, the music, because, you know, we need to be, as Mark said, like a Westlife 2.0 version, like a better version of our former selves. We want to not just come back just to tour and just to do a one-off thing and thanks a million, good luck. We want to come back and recreate Westlife's sound, but better, and be a better band. And music is the most important thing about any band is music. And if you have incredible music, you will get bigger and better, and you'll do things that, you know, you want to achieve that maybe we haven't achieved, you know, internationally and stuff like that as well. So, but yeah, this song is, as Mark said as well, the Steve Mack element to it is very important because he's kind of creating the whole sound for this album. And obviously Ed Sheeran being involved in the songwriting just adds that, you know, just that element of wowness to the song.
It is. That's exactly it.
The lyrics are just wow, and I
can't wait for everyone to hear it.
He's like a poet. He's like a poet. Like, he really is.
And we're actually very lucky. I mean, when I don't know what exact age Ed is, but when he was younger,
he's younger than Nicky anyway.
Younger than I think everyone in the room is. But he's told us anytime we've all met him individually and stuff, and he's told us that when he was younger, he used to sort of learn how to play the guitar to like the Westlife Greatest Hits album and stuff, and it wasn't like we kind of hunted him down and said, please write a song. Like, he actually wrote, before we knew we were getting back together, he had written songs for Westlife with Steve Mack. So it kind of happened really organically, you know. It wasn't like we were sort of shoving the idea down his throat or whatever. He really was into it before we even got back together.
Style song.
Yeah.
Because they wrote Steve Mack and Ed. The first time they met was a couple of years ago. They wrote "Shape of You." That was the first song they wrote together, which obviously became one of the biggest songs ever. And like they were back together, I think like a month later, 2 months later, writing. And they wrote a load of songs in 1 week. But he wanted to come in one day and he wanted to write Westlife songs, you know. And Steve obviously hadn't no idea that we were even thinking about getting back together at that stage. So the fact that they wanted to write a Westlife song, it definitely was a draw to us to hear these songs.
That gives you the push if you're not sure.
Absolutely, we wanted to hear these songs because you know we'd be close enough with Steve as well. Like, and I met him at one thing, and he was saying he was working with Ed and stuff, and I was excited by the fact that Ed Sheeran and Steve Mack were working together. I was like, this is starting to. There's something starting to, you know.
It's meant to be.
A story starting to come together here, and we have to hear this.
Yeah.
So
we have to break the ice somehow.
When you asked about, like, you know, what was the decision to get back together, and when me and Shane first started talking, it was like, as time has gone on in the last probably 6 to 8 months, you just see another star align in the right direction for this to happen. And it just, I think we've all now kind of got to a point where it's like, there's another box ticked. You know, as we've gone along, we couldn't have actually imagined it to
Don't
this
be giving
point.
away that's another line of the song.
Don't be giving it. Well, do you know what we're going to do? We're going to take it back for a moment to kind of where it all began, because obviously listeners to this show know that we do a feature called 11s, where myself and Nikki pick a song each to get the listeners to vote for at 11 o'clock. I normally pick something that no one ever votes for. Nikki goes, you know, way out there, loves a good power ballad. So today we have decided, because we're not doing We Built This City. There's no Starship happening today.
Okay.
So we thought we'd do was we would get all of Westlife to each pick their favourite Westlife song, and we'll get our listeners, they can vote for it on Twitter now. They can go on to RTE2FM. So we're going to start with Shane. What have you gone with?
You Raise Me Up for me. There it is.
There it is. So if anybody would like to hear that, you can vote for Shane on Twitter. That is a classic.
Such a great chorus.
It's going to be hard to beat. Mark, can you remember what you chose?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I chose. I'm just looking at Nicky here because he was texting us yesterday.
The flying movie.
Yeah,
it was Flying Without Wings.
Yeah, Flying Without Wings. I'm here flap my wings.
I
forget there's cameras on us as well. For me, Flying Without Wings. I mean, you know, there's definitely a few favourites, but Flying Without Wings is the one that I just never get sick of singing.
Yeah.
I never get to do this anymore. Do we do the Flying Without Wings?
No,
maybe on our comeback tour, you know. But yeah, that's just kind of a song that, like, we had Swear It Again as our first single, If I Let You Go, and that was all great, all well and good. But Flying Without Wings sort of put us onto a different level, I think, as a song, you know.
Okay, well, what are you going to go with, Keem?
I went with World of Our Own.
Oh, good one. Excellent. Let's hear it.
Just as a
tune.
Well, that's getting a good reaction, Kay, and you could be winning there.
I can't see what's going to win now. And Nikki.
Well, I wanted to go with What About Now, but you'd picked it last week.
I did, actually,
and that was again another career moment song for us that we needed at around that time. But I know your favourite Westlife song. When I first met Jenny, she said to me two things. One, I interviewed you many moons ago on a Dublin
You were
radio
actually
station.
one of the very first interviews I did. I was probably about 18, I think, maybe. I'm
you
not
working
too.
for FM 104,
Yeah.
and you interviewed us back in the day.
Yeah.
Were we a bunch of so-and-sos?
Divas we were.
I think we probably all were.
That's a yes, man.
I can confirm.
You then said you bought a song many moons later called Safe.
Yes, I
which
did.
Which is a great song that we did with John Shanks in LA.
Safe.
And the reason I loved it so much was the coat that you wore in the video, which he then wears to the Christmas party every year.
I wear it to every 2FM Christmas
first
party.
year,
Honestly,
I was like, give me a go, that coat.
I never need to buy a Christmas jacket again.
Yeah.
That was Nicky's acting moment.
Yeah.
I saved a girl from the building.
He nearly won an Oscar for that. Almost
in
nearly
my
got put
head.
up for
Seriously,
an Oscar.
I don't think any of us ever need to buy a Christmas jacket again because we've got all our Westlife jackets from 15
You're
years
sorted.
of the band. So yeah, I've just got like wardrobes full of Westlife jackets that I still wear to this day.
Jenny, real quick, just on Flying Without Wings, when we got back in the studio with Steve Mack and stuff, and it was all fun and laughs and hearing the songs, Steve told us a lovely story of him being out at some award show with James Corden and Ed Sheeran, and they were both the three of them were having an argument about what the best part of Flying Without Wings was. And James Corden had come over and went, best part of Flying Without Wings is when Shane goes, everybody, and then Ed Sheeran goes, no, it's not. He said, that's not the best part. The best part is, and what was it?
Clearly my bit.
The Clearly Mark's bit, the big fight. So they were having this kind
Obviously.
of moment of arguing what the best part of Flying. So I think when we heard that story as well, it brought us to a place where, wow, like someone like Ed Sheeran and James Corden and obviously Steve Mack are having this, you know, kind of discussion about Flying Without Wings. So
this is the one. Well, look, we will put it out to the listeners. We're going to take a quick break in a song. We are still on 2FM's Facebook page live, so people can watch us here.
Around the world.
Around the world. And get voting on Twitter now. It's 2FM.
What? Karen Mullen, everybody. Hello. Are we still live on Facebook? Yeah. I'll have a Guinness. Sparkling water, please, Karen, if you have it. Thanks.
I'd love a coffee actually. Just Americano black, yeah. There's one in the dressing room
I'm
there,
okay
yeah.
for the
One
moment.
of them's
Still
fine.
live on Facebook, just so you know. Yeah.
Good crack, Jenny. It's great.
I was sitting there going,
sure it's home?
I know, but sure, I didn't think.
I'll apologize.
You didn't go into the details, so it's fine.
Again, yeah.
Like two.
Any tunes in particular?
I love Milo.
Wow.
Nikki, does it feel weird?
And
or does it feel normal?
I'm just wondering, what was it like as a Westlife fan? Because I mean, there was rumours going around for a while that Westlife were going to be getting back together. But I mean, what was it like while it was kind of there was rumours floating around where people texted each other going, "Well, are the lads getting back?"
Yeah. It was great keeping an eye on social media. Like, it was great buzz. Yeah.
So what will the plans be then for Thursday for getting your hands on tickets?
Got my pre-sale this morning.
Probably, I'd say everyone here got pre-sale, did they? Yeah. That's what, okay, thank you very much. Well, Catherine, how are you?
Are you watching it?
Excited?
Very excited.
What's it like being in the same room as the lads? Have you ever been this close to them?
Yeah, I have.
Oh, really?
I've never met Nikki, but I've
Did
met
you go
the
on West or
lads.
2FM for that?
Okay. Well, I'm sure we can rectify that today.
Is it
Are they
more like
are
the
they as
same
good
feed-
looking in real life?
same feeds?
2FM gave
No,
him
I'm
West
gay. But yeah,
That doesn't mean you can't say that they're good looking. That's
gorgeous. Gorgeous.
Jenny says that they're good looking all the time. I said, are they as good looking in real life? She said, I wouldn't know, I'm gay. So that doesn't mean that you can't say that they're good looking men.
All right.
So what are you most excited about seeing the lads getting back together?
Well, I've got my pre-sale tickets this morning, and I can't wait to go and see them at Crow Park.
Any tune in particular you're looking forward to being performed live?
Flying Without Wings, I think.
I heard that's not in the set list.
Hey.
I'm joking. Okay, I'm going to
Just
go
do
over
Flying at
here
Wings
now.
17 times.
Okay, I'm going to go over here. I'm not sure, Richie, if you'll be able to get the whole way over. Manuela. So someone came from Dublin, but you came from Italy.
Yes,
You flew in last night just for this. Just for this.
just for this.
So how did you manage to get your hands on tickets for this?
Sorry.
How did you manage to get your hands on tickets for today?
I think I was just lucky.
And so what are you most excited about Westlife getting back together?
To see them together again for the first time, yeah.
How excited are you for the new music?
Very excited.
And I was asking over there as well, for Westlife fans, when all the rumors were going around, like, were people in touch with each other? Did you think it was really going to happen?
No,
She's like,
I thought it was just gossip.
And have you ever seen the lads perform live?
Yeah, Shane.
And have you ever met the lads in real life?
Shane and Nikki.
Okay, right. And
Better looking in real life, haven't I?
Great place for the radio.
any tune in particular you're looking forward to the lads performing? I'm sorting out your set list here for you, just so you know.
Safe.
Okay.
Safe tune.
Okay.
I'm watching it here now.
That's the Cole's favourite song.
Okay, Rachel, thank you very much, Manuela. Rachel, I'm going to have a chat with you. Excited?
Yeah, I'm so excited.
Absolutely.
I can't wait.
And how did you manage to get your hands on tickets for today?
Oh, I think I texted in about 100 times. I have to keep topping up my credit.
Now, you haven't come as far as Manuela.
No, I haven't come as far. I'm from Dublin, yeah. So.
And have you managed to get your hands on tickets, yeah?
No, I thought I had them, but I didn't. I'm getting them, so we'll get them on Thursday.
Okay, so what will the plan be there? Like about 8 laptops out in front of you?
Say so, yeah, or else up to the square and get to Ticketmaster myself.
I forgot you can buy physical tickets these days. Yeah, I forgot about that. And what are you looking forward to most about Westlife getting back together? Is it seeing them live? Is it hearing the new music?
I'd say definitely seeing them live again. Like, that farewell concert was amazing, so I just can't wait to see them again in Croke.
And were you there in Croke Park?
Oh, yeah, we queued up from about 11 o'clock in the morning to get up to the front. So, yeah, it was brilliant.
Lovely. Well, thank you very much, Jack. You're not getting away with it. Very few men in the room. Jack, but you haven't been dragged along here. No, you are a fan.
Thank you.
Yeah, I
perfect,
suppose.
He is now. What are you most excited about with Westlife getting back together?
Seeing him live, I suppose.
Will you
All the
be?
women in the audience.
Have you managed to get your hands on tickets yet?
No, No, my mum's turning on Thursday though.
And have you seen the lads perform live?
No, I haven't.
See, this is the thing. We were actually having a discussion with Nikki there yesterday. But see, the funny thing is, Westlife are one of those bands where, with lads, it's like, yeah, it's Westlife. They're great. Do you know what I mean? You're like a cool band to like as a bloke. That's what I'm saying. And Nikki as well, playing the new music, has been going around the place. Like he's been very, very.
Nobody's been wanting to listen. I've been pleased with listening to the song.
He's been carrying a little speaker around with him to play it to everyone.
Again, I've heard it, Nikki. It's great.
Okay.
It's live on Facebook, by the way.
Okay. One last. Anyone? I'm just gonna. Yeah, you're getting lamped with it. Quiva, what are you most excited about with Westlife getting back together? I bet to call you two there.
Being able to go and disco dance at the concerts. Yeah, that's it.
Disco dance. Are you sure you're going to that gig?
When you're looking like.
Oh yeah, we're gonna get some new
so we're
routines
going
on
back
the go.
live now. So I'm gonna hand back over to Miss Jenny Green.
Come on, everybody.
Woohoo! I think we could be taking a double ad break here. Okay. Panic over, lads. We're still live on Facebook, though, so be nice.
25. Goes quick, doesn't it?
It does, actually.
Is that Selena Gomez on that song as well? Oh yeah,
Definitely
sorry.
something wrong with this
song.
couch. I feel like I'm sinking into it.
It's just because you're TV. It's because you're TV.
TV.
Yep. Okay, so we've another minute and a half left. We're doing another ad break. Does anyone? I know we're probably going to do something in a little while, but does anyone have one question for any of the lads? Anyone want to put a hand up? Oh, come on! Do you know how many people are watching here who would love to be here right now? Okay.
You just missed out. You weren't that close.
So I just got engaged. So,
Congrats!
So I want you to come to Vegas and sing at my wedding. How do we? I'll get a credit
I'll
union
book
loan.
that for you.
Yeah,
that's
I think
no
we
problem.
should.
Just
Do you know
email
what I mean?
me.
2020.
Yeah.
Do you want Jenny and the orchestra to do the afters as well?
It's going to be a 50 people wedding. It's very small.
Will
Jenny,
be
you're
room
more than
for us.
welcome to come as
Thanks.
well. But
Not
I
with
think
the
the
orchestra,
lads would
that'd
be
be
fabulous at the wedding. So yes, no, maybe.
Where's the wedding on?
Vegas.
It's going to be in Vegas.
Oh, we're there.
Vegas.
See, I'll even pay.
We'll
I'll
get
pay.
your people
I'll
to
pay.
talk to our people, okay?
Okay, cool.
You picked a good venue.
Congratulations, though.
Thanks, Emma.
I've got a question. How if you're on here today, how are you going to do the pre-sale? Have you already done that, or you did already?
Does that mean you have tickets already?
About 20 seconds.
You have tickets already.
20 seconds to live.
Did you get the album? You got the album with the pre-sale, is it? Might have to wait for the album for a while. No, I won't be that late. But it'll be.
Go, Jenny.
2FM, and welcome back. We are live from
Yes, we
Studio
are.
8 with a world exclusive, the very first Westlife interview in 7 years almost. So we're joined by a studio audience. We got some questions. Where is Sarah O'Grady from Wexford? Sarah, okay, if you could jump in there now
Sarah.
for us, Carl. I know that you had a question as well, Sarah. What was it that you wanted to ask the lads?
Yeah, I just wanted to ask the lads, I know you've done great duets in the past, but if you could choose any band or singer from any era, who would it be and why?
We were talking about that recently, actually.
From
Celine
any era.
Dion came up at one point. She was one diva that we never managed to sing with. We done Mariah Carey and Diana Ross.
Okay.
So Celine
We
Dion
sang
was,
with her, you mean?
Celine Dion was one female singer that sounded incredible.
Skip over that.
Anybody else?
Is that too much?
Just
Too
don't
early?
make an issue out of it, and it's not an issue, you know.
Yeah, I think Celine Dion would be good. But
I have one. I always, because we were always massive Backstreet Boys fans years ago, and I've always tried to suggest a Backstreet Boys duet.
Yeah, good work.
Yeah, that went down really well, didn't it? So I think I'll just do that in my head.
There's loads of great Irish bands, and I think someone like a Gavin James would be cool. I think Gavin's really talented. Or even now, obviously, somebody like Picture This, obviously Flying, that'd be cool down the road as well. But
They're great.
someone from from a previous life, let's just say, probably. I mean, we did a swing album back in the day. Well, probably wasn't our finest moment, but we did a lot of fun making it. And someone like
It was fun making it.
Yeah. Something with Robbie, lads. That would be fun.
That'd be cool.
That would be good, actually. We got another question. Heidi Windsor from Wexford. Whereabouts is Heidi?
Oh, from Wexford.
Wexford only.
Now, interesting. It's not so much a question as a request to Nikki, which I found quite shocking. What is it that you wanted?
Don't start.
I think you know.
Wow. Okay.
Whoa.
Can we have a good crap joke?
Ah,
Hey, Nikki, you're full of them.
you should prepare me for this.
Come on, we get about 5 every day since we got
Yeah.
back together.
What is it?
I actually really like
crap
that.
Wasn't there the what about the swimming on their backs?
Yeah, you don't get them; they're that bad.
Was it otters? Was it otters?
Can you
or
remember that one?
Oh, listen, she doesn't want a good crap joke from me.
Why
There's a
do
reason I
why
don't do them?
otters swim on their back? Keep their nuts dry.
Hey,
But
Emma Murphy from Carlo. Whereabouts is Emma? There we go. Hand up straight at the back. What is your question, Emma?
My question was, what would you do differently this time round that you didn't get to do last time, or if you change anything, or?
It's a good question.
It is.
Don't have the answer.
Bueller.
we'll
We
tell
never-
anybody here. We don't know yet. I don't know actually.
Look,
we
we
just
never,
be-
we never broke the
basically,
states
yeah.
properly, but I'm not sure there's even a plan for that even now. But it's certainly in the world that is today with social media. It seems to be a lot easier you don't necessarily have to travel and do all the radio stations. When we first went to America and we did like 4 months straight there, we didn't have a day off, and we were literally hitting 4 states every day. We were getting up in the morning, doing a breakfast show. We'd fly to a different state. We'd do another radio, then we'd do a performance, then we'd go to another state. And we were doing that for 4 months. And because America's so big, you're only really touching the surface, so to speak. Nowadays, I think we could do this here today, and it can be streamed live on Facebook and social media and Twitter and Instagram and all
Which
those
it is
things.
right now.
Which
It
it
is right
is
now,
right
Which
now.
Keane has been watching.
Which people in
Good evening, New
Australia
York.
and South Africa and America and all these places can see. So we were very successful in most of the world except the US. So maybe there's a plan, maybe there's not.
I think if we were to get deep about it, though, a little bit deeper than just that, is not to get stressed out by stuff. I think towards the last 2 or 3 years
Yeah,
of the
that's been
band,
going really well, hasn't it?
That's never going to happen.
brilliant.
Let's not talk about the photo that was. We're doing that one. We're not doing that one. We're changing that. We'll do that one. I think we're doing
There's
it.
wishes and then there's not reality.
Okay, Amanda Kelly has come to us this morning from Galway. Where's Amanda?
Hi.
Amanda is at the front here,
Right here at
red
the front.
T-shirt. Amanda,
Amanda.
what was your question?
I just want to know which album of your own albums that you like the best and why.
The first album.
First album.
I think the first album was our best album by a mile. Personally.
That's not a good sign after we did 10 after
No,
that.
I just think when you look back at it, we could have had
Gravity was
we
good.
could have had 10 or 11 singles off that album. It was
Yeah.
that. It was
Yeah.
that
It
strong.
was all downhill
Swear It
after
Again,
there.
Fly with the Wings, If I Let You Go. Even I Don't Want to Fight was nearly a single.
Moments.
There were so many great songs.
So many great songs in that. I've been playing the Where We Are album to my little boy. He's been kind of listening to that a lot, and I think like that album was kind of slightly different to some of our previous albums because we had a bit more kind of tempo and difference to it. But I don't know. The Greatest Hits, I suppose, is probably the favorite album.
It's a safe bet.
That's a safe. That's
I know, but it
that's not a
works,
great
doesn't it?
answer though.
What was the single off Gravity? Was that Safe?
What about
Safe.
Safe?
Was it? Okay. Yeah.
I think
Gravity's
Safe
good.
could win this today on
I
11s.
don't
By the
know.
way,
It's
Yes.
getting mentioned a lot. I have
people
to
are
say.
still voting on Twitter.
They're pushing it, you see. They're pushing it.
Oh, he's trying to push
It's the 2FM thing,
It's
isn't it?
it's the wee click
This
going
isn't
on
our
there.
first rodeo.
Yeah.
Quiva Bulger is Quiva from Dublin. Now, I know that it says here in front of me that you were at your first ever concert, a Westlife concert, at the age of 5.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so wow. What is your question?
Oh my God, I actually can't remember what was going to ask. Oh yeah, what was your funniest moments on tour?
Oh, with the one that we can say on
Yeah,
radio.
keep it clean, like.
That brings it down a lot.
We had a lot.
Yeah, but you remember
We had a lot.
we had a crazy incident in Indonesia one time. We were doing a stadium and the gig was going on, and at the end of it we were doing a kind of get together and a bow, and then as that happened and we said goodnight, we walked off, we heard like a commotion and we were kind of looking through the curtains ourselves to see what was going on. And what had happened was the police at the venue and the security team at the venue, which are obviously two different sets of people and companies, had some sort of issue with each other, and now there was the people had cleared and there was now a running battle in the middle of the pitch of the
Like
stadium
Braveheart,
between the
like
police.
Braveheart.
Yeah, like Braveheart.
They all
both then-
ran at each other.
It was
as
very
well.
funny.
And they ran at each other. Do you remember they ran across the
Yeah.
pitch and literally it was
There
like
was a bit of a power struggle over who was in charge, and they basically had a big fight over
Yeah.
it.
But it was
Literally,
We
hilarious.
just watched that. and we
Then
thought,
there was
We're
one night
talking a
the,
couple of hundred people.
the
Like,
stage
just
went on
couple
fire
of
in Newcastle one night.
What?
Remember
Which?
that? We were evacuated. The
When?
crowd weren't. We were already on the bus to the back. Remember in the stage or the arena in Newcastle?
What happened?
When the lighting rig went, the pyro
On the
kept going.
stage, like, it
above
actually-
us went on fire. Do you not remember? Was this a different show?
See, I don't remember a lot of. I don't
Who
remember
were you
some of the
singing with
stuff.
that night?
It must have
Do you
been
know it was
Boyzone.
actually a funny night? Do you remember the night we were in Liverpool and we came out on over the crowd on the
Oh, and it got
scaffolding
stuck, yeah.
and we got stuck? So we're
The
literally out
electricity
and we're in the
went.
middle and
Scarlet for you.
we have no way to get off it. We have no way to get off it. So they had to lower it, move the seats out of the way. The fans had to move back and we had to get off it and just walk out. And kind of, we'll be back in a minute now. Sorry for spoiling the moment. It was horrendous. It was actually funny.
Do you remember the time we got stuck? We went out on this frame where we
Oh,
spun.
I got stuck in
It was
Germany.
no, but Glasgow, the system broke. So we were in Glasgow and we were all out doing our kind of trapeze bit. And the drummer, the final song was When You're Looking Like That. And the drummer, he had to play for 15 minutes, the outro, keep playing the song. But we were still waving on, how the hell are we getting out of here? So they had to winch us down individually again.
and the time that Shane fell off the stage onto the drum kit and done his little drum solo with his body.
Yeah.
I think I might have
I
shown
was
them
in
that.
time and everything. It was brilliant.
Shane, do you remember Berlin? Berlin, we had the globes.
I got stuck in the globe.
In the
and I
globe.
watched Westlife on stage for 10 minutes. I got to see
Yeah, it
the
was like an
concert.
out-of-body experience.
I was literally stuck in this globe that we all come out and mine didn't work. So the boys were on the stage looking up at me going, oh my God, what are we going to do? And I just was literally looking down, you make me feel funny. and I started singing. I sang the whole song and the boys were dancing
the
around on
roof.
the stage. It was in the round so I could see the whole concert. I was like, this is mental. I got to see the crowd.
Did
and
anybody think this was part of the show, or
No, I think they knew it was. Well, maybe.
Shane should be down here for this.
The tears that were streaming down his face were probably a
I could have
giveaway.
been having a stroke. I'm not going down. I'm not pressing my button. I'm not doing it. But I got stuck there for 10 minutes.
Oh God! Well, look, another man who plays a pivotal role in all of this is Louis Walsh, and I phoned Louis yesterday and asked him some quickfire questions. So I'm
Did
hoping.
he answer the phone with Jenny?
You did, darling.
Hello.
Hello. He said, I'll see you Wednesday. That was the other day. I said, you know, it's Tuesday, by the way, just so you know. So anyway, yeah, I asked him a couple of quick fire questions. I said, don't even think about your answers. Just fire them at me. So he's done that. So I'm going to fire them at you. Feel free to jump in, any of you, to answer.
These are questions that Louis has
Don't
told
you
you
be
to.
looking at
But
my...
has he?
Look at you.
I can barely see you, Jenny. I've got very bad eyesight. Trust me. But are these questions he's told you to ask us?
No, these are questions I asked him, and he gave me the answer.
Okay.
Now, what I will say is there's a prize today for whoever gets the most correct. It is a signed and paw printed photo of Nikki with my cats on holidays in Portugal.
That's one of a kind.
That is, they're very unique. So one of
you won't
you,
know this, but that holiday in Portugal, those cats ate me out of house
there
and
you
home.
go.
Honestly.
Anyway, one of
Jenny's
you,
cats.
whoever answers the most correct, is going to be able to walk away with that today.
Black
So,
cats, cool.
are we ready?
Ralph
Question
and
one.
Ellie are the cats. Ralph is our favourite.
So these are all questions that Louis Walsh, who by the way is up there, so he can attest to the answers of these.
Right,
What did Louis say was your best song?
5 Minute Wings.
You raised me up.
No.
Swear it again.
No. Yes. Well done. There's
Swear it
there's a
again.
point for Shane.
Oh, it's a competition.
It is.
Oh, hang on a minute.
don't start.
Hold on,
Nikki's
hold
going
on.
I was wondering.
Jenny, are you aware of Nikki's competitive side at all?
Vaguely. I'll say that much. Okay. Who did Louis say was the best looking?
It has to be me.
I think he said Shane.
Okay. I can tell you that he said, yeah, Nikki thinks he is, but Shane.
This is a conspiracy. I'm not having this.
Okay. Here's a good one.
Don't tell Nikki I said it though. Don't tell him or he won't talk to me.
Who did Louis say is the tightest out of all of you?
Keen.
Titus as in,
As in, like,
Doesn't like
spit
spend money.
scabby. Yeah.
I'm not going to answer that.
All right. You're saying Keen. Keen is the correct answer.
Louis Walsh, you're in trouble, mate.
Who?
But Keane, that's because you always like saving money on tour,
Where's
not
that
spending
point from
silly money.
That is a point.
That's what it is.
Caroline's keeping
the
score. It's a
scorecard?
point for Nikki.
1-1.
Okay,
1-1.
it's 1-1. One for Shane, one for Nikki. We'll give you that. Okay, who did Louis say was the best crack out of the four of you?
The best crack,
Yeah.
it depends during the day or after a couple of beverages.
Well, this is the
I'd say he
answer.
said
So,
Mark.
I'd say he said Shane.
did he
I'm gonna
say
say
anything
Shane.
after he said Shane?
When he's drunk.
Yes, that's exactly what he said.
Did he?
He said Shane, but only with a few drinks.
So
He's
I'm quite-
really boring when
I'm
he's
quite
not
boring
drinking.
the rest of the time.
Exactly.
Which is why I've got this whiskey for you, Shane.
Appreciate it.
Who did he say it was the most difficult to win an argument against out of you?
Nikki.
Nikki, definitely, I'd say.
And I would agree.
I disagree.
Funny that.
Nicky will just agree with you till next Friday.
Exactly.
If he thinks he's right.
And then you'll know about it. Who did he say was the most lightweight out of the lot of you?
Whether we were right or wrong.
You are right.
Oh,
you are right. Absolutely.
That was just assumed.
That was unanimous.
Yeah. Okay.
Who did he say was the most lightweight out of all of you on a night out?
Lightweight.
I mean, it is Nicky.
Probably Nicky.
Well, Nicky is the most lightweight, but that doesn't mean. But
Nicky is the most lightweight.
Three beers and you're drunk. Like.
3 beers and you start
No,
a fight
sorry.
with you.
That's because you all drink vodka.
No, I don't drink vodka. I haven't drank vodka since 1999.
Well, interestingly,
Because I drank it all.
I thought that might have been the answer, but it wasn't. He said you, Mark.
Yes. I would agree.
I need my
I've held
bandmates
Mark's
to
hair back
rectify.
many times when you've been vomiting after you've been drunk.
Yeah, about 20 years ago. I haven't vomited in about
That's
15
why
years.
James Arthur wrote
No.
the song about it.
He actually said Mark never gets drunk.
That means that. No, wait. Hang on a minute. Let's
true?
compartmentalize this, right?
Trying to get brownie points here.
No,
Mark.
they're laughing at I never get drunk because that's a crazy
That's not
statement.
true.
But that means I'm the least lightweight if I don't
There you
get
go.
drunk.
Well,
I
he
would
said
agree.
he's the most lightweight. He doesn't really drink much.
Yeah, that's fair to say.
You all right?
Before 12 o'clock.
That's a lie.
I know, I joke.
Always
Okay.
drink responsibly.
I wasn't expecting this.
Always drink responsibly.
Who did he
Absolutely.
say was the vainest?
The vainest.
I just heard a gasp from the audience.
Nicky looked at me there as if to say, "Don't say me."
This could start another
Who would
fight.
you say?
No, I'd say Shane.
I would say Louis said Nicky.
I'm going to say
which is the
Nicky.
game
I'm
we're
going to say
playing.
Nicky because he said
And
me.
it is the correct answer. It's another point for Mark.
Nicky knew it though. That's
But
why
you know
he
what?
looked at me
Louis
as
like,
if,
you
"Don't
can't
say
touch
me."
me. I'm behind the glass. I'm just being honest. He's literally up there running out the door now.
Who did Louis say makes the most mistakes on live shows out of all of you?
Oh, probably me.
Oh, that's a tough.
But some mistakes are meant to be made, you know?
Definitely not me, anyway.
He actually said, "You're kind of. I'm going to give you a point anyway." He did say Nicky and Mark.
Nicky! Look at
Louis,
Nicky's
Louis,
face.
I would run as fast as you can.
What's the next one? Moving on.
Who would Louis trust with his deepest, darkest secrets?
Keane.
He actually said Shane and Keane. I asked him
That
to pick one.
basically
He said
says
he
his
could.
favourites, right? That's what he's saying.
No, what it is
And
he
I'm,
brings up.
and I'm getting to that question.
Oh, okay.
Boys, I gotta tell you something, but just don't tell the rest of the boys.
And then he rings me. He goes, "Okay, I'm telling you something now, but don't tell anyone about the band."
Just you and Shane.
Where is he from all of a sudden?
What did I say? 10 members, innit?
He spent 3 months a year in the Caribbean.
His accent is changing. I love it.
He goes to the Caribbean on holidays.
And Limerick.
Who did Louis say is the most stylish?
The most stylish.
He's going to say Nicky because Nicky thinks that.
No, I think he said Shane. I think he said Shane.
I hope he said Nicky for Louis' sake.
I think he said Shane.
It's interesting. I'm not really sure what the answer is because he didn't really answer it because he said Nicky tries the hardest.
Oh my God! This is brilliant. This
Is he still
unbelievable.
modelling himself off Bex? And I said, I'm not sure. Okay, who would he call in an emergency?
Ghostbusters.
Um,
Who would he call in an emergency?
Yeah.
he wouldn't phone Mark because Mark wouldn't answer. That's the
I would
truth.
say me or Keane.
Both of you, actually. Well done.
At the
There's
same time.
another point for Shane. Who is the most popular in the band?
In Louis' head or in the world?
It's not really.
Do you know, it was actually, I'm going to give you all a point because he gave a lovely answer. He said they all are. All of them as a unit is what works.
Yeah,
There you
good,
go.
good.
There, you've redeemed
Good
yourself, Louis.
Just about.
Yeah, 4 yeses.
4 yes. Who is his favourite?
Do you know what? I'm going to answer this. I'd say Keane used to be and Shane is.
We're getting real honest now.
I'd be honest.
Agree. I don't answer my phone to him as much anymore because I've got kids now. Keane, you
By the
never
sound
answer
of
the phone
all the
anymore.
answers there, I don't think it's Nicky.
So by process of elimination,
Yeah, it's definitely not me. I don't think it's Mark. I think he likes Mark.
he likes
I think
me, and
he
that's
loves-
about as far as
I
it
think
goes.
I think he thinks I'm okay. He likes Mark, loves Shane, loves Kane, but I think at the moment it's Shane.
Okay.
Would I be right?
It is Shane. Well done.
There you
It's
go.
another point for Nicky. And our final question, I asked him, who has aged the best? Feel free to shout in, audience members, if you
I
wish.
feel like all the compliments are going to Shane and all the abuse is going to Nicky, so I'm
Yeah,
going
I
to say he
feel-
said Shane.
Oh, I don't know.
I don't know.
Okay.
I'm not. I'm
That's
gonna
your, okay. Well, he actually said they all have. They look better now than they did. And he said, make sure you write this down as I'm saying it. I said, I am, Louis. They look better now than they did on the farewell tour. And they look far better than Take That ever did, even 10 years ago.
Wow.
So really, can't argue with that.
Thanks, Louis.
Thank you,
Louis.
We do probably have a couple of minutes just before we get into our 11s and the winning of that. And before we let you go, I know you've got a very busy day today. There's a couple of people here I want to mention. Megan Connolly is here. She got a ticket when she was 17, I believe, snuck out. I'm not too sure exactly where Megan is. And Megan is... Are you okay, Megan? Are you okay? Can we get a mic over to Megan, actually, if you wouldn't mind? You snuck out. You got a ticket when you were 17. Your mum didn't know, but she knows now, I presume, does she? That's where you were.
Yeah, I was 17. I was in my leaving cert year of school, and he had a private gig on up in the O2, or it could have been the Tree at the time, and you had to get a bill phone to get these. So I went up and I got bill phone under my mother's name.
Oh, great! I was delighted with that.
So I decided at 11 o'clock in the middle of a class, I was like, yeah, I'm leaving school. So I just got a train there.
But did you get sorted and you got in and everything, yeah?
Oh, I got in and everything, yeah. So like...
That was the blue room.
I just told my mother that I wasn't coming home for the night, like... And then she found out the next day, obviously, when I started posting a load of pictures up on Facebook, so...
It was worth it.
And
where
are you from?
Me, Waterford.
So you came from Waterford to Dublin?
Yeah.
Were you able to cancel the phone?
Huh?
Were you able to cancel the phone?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
It was in my mother's name, obviously not mine.
There's another lovely story here, possibly the only man that's here that I can see anyway. Sean Holly. Whereabouts is Sean? Now, Sean entered the competition to be here today for his girlfriend. So you must be like the best boyfriend ever.
I hope you brought her.
And is Emma with you, I hope? Emma, so this is like a best... I mean, you're going to live off this now for months, I'd say.
Yeah, she's been trying to get me to take her here to wait outside to see Nicky coming on in the morning.
Well, do you want to tell everyone why you're here and what you've told us this morning about your lovely Emma, and that she has a free pass, apparently, and her free pass is sitting on one of these couches?
Nicky's the only man she'd ever leave me for, is Nicky, she says.
Would you be okay about that?
Yeah, I don't mind.
Are you okay if I give her a hug and say hi?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I'll make her life.
Well, just a hug now. There you go. Now, we can exclusively reveal the winner of our 11s. Before we do that, though, I do also want to say that technically I think Shane won our rapid fire round with Louis.
Signed photo.
And
this is...
It's not the late, but we couldn't have you going home without one as well. And we've won for Keane.
Make sure you don't leave them behind you now.
Lads, this...
If I find that
Jenny,
upstairs...
I'm going to do the honours of giving mine to Nikki.
I have one.
And it will probably be...
He's got a few of them.
I'm going to put this up beside the picture of the Pope and the Queen.
Fantastic.
Right next to it on the mantelpiece.
Now we have the 11s as winner. I can exclusively reveal we've no drum roll. However, the winning 11s song was Keane.
Yeah!
World of Our Own.
I knew that was
Nice.
What a tune, though.
So we are going to be playing that just after 11 o'clock, and I think we sadly have to say
Can
goodbye.
I just say real quickly,
Yes.
Jenny Green, everybody, what an
Thank you
absolute
very much.
legend. And to everybody at 2FM, to Cormac, Anita, Caroline, Dan, Paul, everybody up there, for putting this on. It's been brilliant.
And
Thank
can
you
I
very
just
much.
say,
Here.
we're really sorry to FM, but we're taking Nikki away from me.
I know you are, but not
Soon.
yet. Not yet. Tickets go on sale, the pre-sales this morning, and the main sale for anybody who's listening and who's watching us on Facebook. Go out and get them. Get up nice and early. Thursday morning it's going to be, is it?
I think it's 9 a.m.
Thursday, 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
All goes
It's going to be
on
good.
sale.
It'd be good to be back on stage. So that's going to be
great old day out.
It's going to be incredible. The next year is going to be
Fantastic.
very exciting.
Am I going
thanks
to
to all the
get
fans that
a
came here
ticket for
today.
Croke Park? That's all I
Thank
need
you.
to know. Or do I need to get up early?
No.
Okay, I'll get up early. That's fine.
Jenny, I'll give you a ticket. Don't
Aw,
worry.
thanks. Shane will put me on his list.
Oh,
Thanks,
he's
Phil.
new
I think
favourite.
I'm
He's
your favourite now.
He's always been my favourite. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us today. Will you please put your hands together one more time for the amazing Westlife?
Thank you.
We will go
JJ,
back
thank
to-
you.
back